Spiky, take a look at the pond.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Can you name any of the living things in it?
There is a water lily, a few other plants, a frog, a few fish. There are also birds here. Look at the duck. It seems to be enjoying the water. I can see some small insects as well.
Good. How about the non-living things?
Yes, there are a number of non-living things too, like water in the pond, the air, soil on the ground, stones, and of course, sunlight.
Are the living things interacting with the non-living things?
Yes, they are. Like the lily plant in this pond needs sunlight, water, carbon dioxide from air and other nutrients to make its food. Also, the fish need water to survive.
Good observation. In science, such a system is called an ecosystem. It consists of all living and non-living things in an area. Let's take a closer look to know more about the ecosystem. Ecosystem is a short form for ecological system. It comes from the word ecology. Ecology is the study of the interaction of living and non-living things. Living things in an ecosystem are called biotic components. For example, plants, animals, insects, microorganisms, and even human beings. Non-living things in an ecosystem are called abiotic components. For example, air, water, sunlight, nutrients, and temperature. So, a pond is an example of an ecosystem. We have observed that there are many different types of living things within an ecosystem, from microorganisms to insects and plants. These living things depend on non-living things, like water, sunlight, temperature, air, and nutrients for their survival.
Can you give me another example of an ecosystem?
Well, the ocean is also an example of an ecosystem. It consists of countless numbers of living organisms as well as non-living. An ecosystem can also be small, such as the area under a rock. Here you will find biotic components like microorganisms and insects, and abiotic components like soil, nutrients, and air. An ecosystem can also be as big as our Earth. Although different ecosystems may have similarities and differences from one another, they all contain biotic and abiotic components. We also have artificial ecosystems. For example, a park, a garden, a zoo, or even an aquarium. To summarize, an ecosystem consists of all living things and non-living things in a given area and their interactions. Living things in an ecosystem are called biotic components, while the non-living things of an ecosystem are called abiotic components. An ecosystem can be as small as a pond or as big as the Earth.
Hello, students. Hello, teacher. How are you? What are we going to learn today? Today, we are talking about the interrelationships in ecosystems. Let's begin. Living things are affected by different factors in the environment. Do you remember there are two different types of ecosystems, terrestrial and aquatic? In terrestrial ecosystems, the main factors are temperature, humidity, type of soil, and light. And in aquatic ecosystems, the main factors are temperature, water currents, light, and salt content, which is the salinity. Remember that the components of an ecosystem are in balance with each other. This balance can be affected if we change temperature or because of the presence of new species. So please take care of the environment. Now it's time to talk about the adaptation to the environment. First, habitat is an area where a living thing lives and can find everything it needs. But species adapt to the environment. Adaptation allows living things to survive in a particular environment. And now I'm telling you a couple of examples. Imagine you are in a desert. What plants are you going to see? Cactuses. Cactuses adapted to their environment by having small leaves to reduce water loss and also deep roots to absorb more water. Imagine now that you are in North Pole and you see a polar bear. Polar bear adapted to the environment with paws to swim and walk on ice, and also they have fur and fat against cold. And this is the end of the lesson, students. Bye bye. Bye bye, teacher. Thank you.
Created using Powtoon.
Welcome to Moo Math and Science and a list of the biomes. A biome is a biological community that is formed in response to shared physical climate. Biomes can be either terrestrial or land or aquatic. Up first is the desert. Deserts can be found in North America, Australia, and the southwest U.S. Here's a map of some of the deserts of the world. Deserts have very little rainfall. They can be hot or they can even be cold. Grassland. Grasslands are found in the U.S., Canada, Argentina, Russia, and even Turkey. They are dominated by grass. They have cold winters and hot summers and average rainfall. Savanna. It is similar to a grassland, but they are found in East Africa, South America, and they're known for having a wet and dry season and warm temperatures throughout most of the year. The rainforest, which is found at the equator, has little variation in temperature and lots of rain. The deciduous forest is found in North America, East Asia, Europe, and Norway. Many of the trees have leaves that fall off in the winter, and they generally have 4 seasons. A taiga can be found in Russia, Canada, Alaska, and Sweden. It is the largest land biome. You will find spruce trees and pines. They have short summers and long cold winters. A tundra has very little tree growth. It can be found in Russia and northern Canada and has low temperatures, which results in lots of shrubs and mosses. Under the aquatic biomes, you have the ocean. The ocean has high salinity and covers most of the world. An estuary is an area where you have the mix of salt and fresh water. And finally, under fresh water, it has a very low salinity, and you will find ponds, lakes, streams, and again, they have low salinity. So there is a list of some of the major biomes of the world. Thanks for watching, and Moo Math uploads a new math and science video every day. Please subscribe and share.
Looking a little deeper into the first principle, conservation of resources, we find 3 main thrusts: conserving energy, water conservation, and planning to conserve materials. Let's take a more detailed look at these 3 ideas. Practicing energy conservation includes employing energy-conscious community planning and site planning, planning for optimal thermal performance, considering passive heating and cooling, use of alternative energy sources, building with low embodied energy materials, materials which do not require excessive energy to produce, and employing energy-efficient equipment and appliances. Planning for water conservation is a positive and reoccurring theme and includes use of native landscaping, employing low-flow lavatory toilets and fixtures, rainwater collection and reuse, and the collection and recycling of water. The third leg of conservation of resources is plan for conserving materials, including using material conserving design and construction, properly sizing building systems to conserve energy, whenever possible to rehabilitate existing structures, and the use of reclaimed or recycled materials and components whenever possible.